Welcome to another episode of Mystics in a Chat Room, Conversations with Agents of Change. On today's program, we have the amazing Holly R. Couch. Holly is a transformational life coach, a wellness expert, and a giving soul whose passion for horses and living the best life you can is certainly commendable. I have such an intriguing time every time I connect with Holly and understand the deeper layers to the work that she does and what she gives people. Please welcome to the program Holly R. Couch. Prepare to be illuminated. Holly, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, my word. I'm so honored, truly. So honored to be doing this.
And you're based in Atlanta.
Yes.
Where at the moment there's something going on, a tornado, or what's going on there?
Well, definitely the threat, but we should be okay.
Nice, nice. Well, welcome. It's really great to have you on and to talk about so much of what you do in the world, which is extremely positive. And part of the mission of this show and what I want to do is to showcase people like you to other people so they realize there are these agents of change in the world, and I certainly think you are one of them. So welcome, 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 welcome.
So humbling.
Yes. So, Holly, you are a transformational life coach, among other many wonderful things. You're a mother, you're a wife, and you're a brilliant human being. And I love what you are doing. And for all those that you'll see on the bottom of the screen, hollyrcouch.com. Go there and you'll see more of what Holly's work is all about. But can you talk about why something like transformational life coaching is so important now? I mean, I think it's kind of a no-brainer, but let's talk about that, especially now, because the world is such an interesting place and we're all evolving quite uniquely lately. So, so let's talk about that.
Yes, absolutely. So, one of my mentors said something to me about 5 years ago that I've never forgotten, and I decided to live my life truly through this kind of quote that she said. She was getting on to me because I was maybe being a little self-deprecating. And she was like, no, not on my watch. And
I love that.
Back then, I have to give her some props, my dear friend Meryl. So she said, I see a powerful woman in you. You may not see her yet, but I see her. And you are not serving yourself or the world by playing small.
That's lovely. Yes.
She said, you have a responsibility. And I was like, I mean, it hit me because I always knew there was a more powerful and self-assured, purpose-driven woman inside of me just screaming to get out. I always knew this, but I was struggling so much with self-esteem and self-doubt, and I was afraid to take bold steps towards my calling and towards my purpose. Until I met Meryl, I can hardly talk about her without choking up. This woman changed my life. So I stepped into it that very day. I stepped into this work, and that was 5 years ago, and I've never turned back. So now we're talking to Holly Couch 2.0.
I love that. You know, a few months ago, I was like, okay, this is the Greg 2.0 tour, so let's create something fabulous and put it out there. But I totally get that. Because we reach certain points in our life where we go, okay, that was really cool. That's a really cool era. And now we're walking over a bridge and we're seeing another era that wants to blossom and, kind of become reality. So I get that.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen overnight. And
no. I keep looking at my little watch and going, wait, what? Haven't I transformed yet? No, I totally get it.
Overdue. That was supposed to happen last week.
Right.
So, yeah, and I think that a lot of people get discouraged and they quit before the miracle happens. And you really have to understand, we all have to really understand, it's a process. And you're not going to see the changes overnight. They may not be so overt. But what you may notice is that a certain situation that maybe before you would be triggered by, you just kind of walk over, and you step back and go, wait a minute, wow, 2 years ago I would have just crumbled.
Right. So it's a choice. It's a choice. We make that. It's like we catch ourselves, or I should say I catch myself, and I make a choice like, okay, I can choose to respond or react or have this get me. It's either like I got it or it has me. I have it or it has me, some type of thing. So, wow. So were you born and raised in Atlanta, in Georgia?
No, I was born in Houston, Texas, and I was only there until about the third grade. And my parents got divorced, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing that happened. My real dad was. I have compassion for the man, but he shouldn't. He's not one that should have procreated. Probably he wasn't meant to be a father figure. But he had his own stuff. I really think he had a mental illness on top of alcoholism. So it was a good thing that they got divorced, and my mom remarried to the most wonderful man on the planet. And I'm so lucky to have been raised by my stepdad from the fourth grade on. And he moved us all to Franklin, Tennessee, which was just absolutely a magical place to grow up. And I lived there until college, and then went to Atlanta with the company I was working with.
Atlanta's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
I love it.
So what has helped you, and then I want to get and talk about this wonderful work you're doing now, what has really helped you get through some of those tough times, those dark spots? You mentioned self-esteem issues, which I think so many of us deal with sometimes on a daily basis, What's helped you move through some of those harsher or more challenging times, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, surrounding myself by empowering, supportive, loving people. I don't have room in my life for toxic people, for negative people who don't truly want the best for you. And so I'm very discerning about my inner circle. And I've been very, very lucky, whether it's through my career or through my education or through the horse community. I'm surrounded by remarkable people who are, they're all about rising tide raises all ships. And so that's the first thing is it's your inner circle, truly. And it's also, I can only give credit, honestly, to a higher power on this, that I've always been pushed. I've always had something pushing me towards something greater. And I always had a knowing that I could make a positive impact in this world. And because of that, I made the decision to start doing this transformational work. And I just never stopped. Once I started, I never stopped. And there are many platforms that have caused this transformation within myself. One of them, of course, is where we met at Evolving Out Loud.
Kyle Cease, yes.
Yes, he's amazing. So for those of you out there that don't know, who are not aware of Kyle Cease or Evolving Out Loud, he was a stand-up comedian. And really himself got very much into this transformational work and fused his comedic platform with this transformational platform. And it's called Evolving Out Loud. And it is absolutely life-changing. And then I also have my own personal life coach, who Nathan Seward.
Brilliant soul.
He has a
brilliant
true
soul,
gift.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he just reached down like through the top of my head and just pulled this amazing woman out. He was not going to play with small Holly. He was only going to play with big Holly, and he made that very clear. And so he's played a huge role in my own personal transformation. So it's been reading, it's been going to transformational events, it's been my own personal coaching. all of these things truly just were the perfect storm.
Wow.
And time, like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
It does take time. We do the footwork, and then we, at some point go, oh, okay. Something's shifted here. I love how you say that Nathan and some of the other things that you've been, stepping into, but particularly Nathan, how he helped pull this fabulous woman out of you. You say, and I love the way you speak of playing small or playing big. So let's talk about playing big and the work that you're doing in your transformational life coaching. I love this concept that you have that is guiding people for 11 days at a time to partake in their course of transformation. And 11, I have an affinity to the number of 11. So when I saw that, I thought, I love this. Let's talk about it. So 11 days at a time. Let's talk about that. What is that about?
Oh, I would love to talk about this. It's truly my passion. It is my calling. I know that I am when I'm coaching someone through this program, I know that I'm in absolute alignment with the universe, with what I'm supposed to be doing, with the positive impact I'm supposed to be making. So yes, my program is called For the Next 11 Days. And the concept came to me through my work with Kyle Cease and Evolving Out Loud. He, when I was receiving coaching from him personally, he talked a lot about caterpillars and going into the cocoon and then emerging as a butterfly. And he said that, the butterfly goes into its chrysalis for around 11 days. Or did I say that right? The caterpillar goes into its chrysalis for around 11 days. And that's where that concept came to me. Is first of all, the butterfly is a beautiful symbol for transformation, right? And going into the unknown and completely undoing everything that you were before to become something so much more beautiful and so much more powerful and something that can just, soar over all the bullshit. And another reason that 11 days really resonated with me is I know for me personally, if I was given a 30, 60, or 90-day challenge, I automatically would just almost shut down. I'm like, there's no way I can do something for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like insurmountable. It's like, what?
Yes, and I know I'm only coming from my frame of reference, but I'm not a very structured person. So doing something every day for 30, 60, 90 days, I was always like, well, okay, I'll try. But 11 days at a time, how underwhelming is that, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can do anything for 11 days at a time. So when I'm working with my clients, it's all about raising awareness 11 days at a time, or creating a new habit 11 days at a time, or I don't like the term goal setting. That also seems heavy, but we'll talk about how do they want to feel? What do they want to experience? And what action can they take towards that experience or towards that feeling for the next 11 days?
I love that. So every day, step into that. And I love that it is really about taking action. Like, what action step can one take? And so for 11 days at a time, that's what you coach people to do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, the work has ended up being so much more profound than I ever imagined. And it's not me doing the work. I'm just facilitating a powerful conversation. My clients are the ones doing the work. They want this. They want to step into their greatness. They want to step into their power. And when I see that happening, that's everything for me, because I'm focusing also not only on what they want to experience, but the ripple effect of them stepping into their own purpose. So, and I'm working with people who are up to really big things. And, I have one client who's also my best friend in the world. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she's wanting to do a lot for young girls being diagnosed with breast cancer to offer support. And, she's been through it. She truly understands what they need. So,
wow.
So there are people out there who were waiting for her to find her power, to show up for them. There are people out there waiting, for all of us to step into our purpose, right? And I worked with another girl who she wants to open up an orphanage here in the United States. She loves working with children. We have, unfortunately, an overabundance of underprivileged and neglected children out there, and she just wants to love them all. So, imagine if she never realized how great she was, if she never realized how powerful she was, she would have never started working towards this goal.
Right.
And then you think about the kids that she's going to touch, and just, and just the ripple effect that takes place from people realizing I am great, I am powerful, and I'm going to do this, damn it.
Yeah. It's so what are you finding in the folks that you're working with that tends to be the biggest stumbling block? Is it not taking action? Is it self-esteem? Is it confusion? I'm curious. I'm curious what's going on out there. So many people want to move from one thing to another, and I know for me, I'm very creative, so I have so many ideas, and I find that when I take action, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, but then it's like, oh yes, that's right. Sometimes we forget. So I'm curious, like what you're noticing might be a typical, or the most predominant thing that you've been seeing.
Okay, I will tell you, and I apologize. I have to go let my rescue dogs out. This is real life, right? Let me run.
Oh, that's okay, and and we can edit this. It's okay.
Real quick. Come on. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
What happens, right?
That's okay. I can actually edit that part out. So I'll just count down for like maybe 4, and then you can answer that question. Okay. All right. Awesome. So 4, 3, 2, 1.
So that is a really great question, and something that I have experienced firsthand as well. Is it's all about action, the physical action that you take. So what I'm finding is that a lot of people think, oh, I've got to get up my confidence first, and then I'm going to go do the thing. And that's very backwards. You have to take action and make a mess and look like a fool and not know what you're doing. And
I love that.
Yeah. You have, okay. One of my favorite words in my practice is willing. You have to be willing to feel uncomfortable, to feel nervous, to be scared to death, to look stupid. You have to willing to be triggered, but you have to take that action. The confidence will never come before you take physical action. And that's not, you can't analyze it in your head enough. You've got to get out there and physically type out the book or type out that email that's going to, to make a bold request that's going to change your life, or physically, get up and exercise, or whatever your goal is. It's physical action, or literally like physically moving your mouth to speak to someone that you were scared to speak to, or picking up the phone. And so I push people. I really do. I'm like, just go do the thing. Yes, you're going to be scared to death. Do it anyway.
Right. Wow, that's fascinating. So 11 days, a different action, and at the end of that time, I'm sure people are seeing things shift, because if you're really committed to doing that for 11 days, and that is manageable, but so and then do we regroup and then do another 11 days, or what are you finding?
Yeah, so this is my program is a 3 month program, and so we connect every 11-ish days for 3 months in a row, and so we reconnect after 11 days or whenever our schedules permit within that time frame, and we reevaluate. We talk about what's been going great, maybe what they're still struggling with, and we reevaluate. We either take that goal to the next step, or we step into a new place of awareness for 11 days. A lot of this work, a lot of this coaching work is working in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, unfortunately and fortunately, is much more powerful than your conscious mind.
Boy, isn't it though? Jeez. There's a cauldron down there sometimes, or up there, or in here. I very fascinated with my subconscious.
Well, you may really get excited about this concept then, and this is fairly new. I fully admit this is something I've just started working with for myself and my clients, and it's a concept or technique called psycho-cybernetics.
Ooh, say that again. Psycho-cybernetics?
Cybernetics.
That's such a sexy term. I love it.
Is.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty sexy right now saying it. So a cybernetic mechanism is like a thermostat. Okay, so you set your thermostat in your home to 72 degrees, and if it's 100 degrees outside and someone leaves the door open, your thermostat is going to kick in to get the ambient temperature back to 72 degrees. Well, we have the same kind of mechanism in our brain that it let's say that we have like a success thermometer, or why do I keep saying thermometer? Like a success thermometer in our brains, and in our subconscious mind, let's say we can only imagine, earning $50,000 a year,
right?
And if something happens and we start earning more, we're more successful, our mind and our subconscious mind, we're not going to be able to handle that. So we're going to sabotage it. So you literally have to go to work in your subconscious mind to raise the level, to raise the temperature on your success, so to speak, in your subconscious mind. And the language of the subconscious mind is images and pictures. So you literally have to imagine yourself with the level of success that you want, handling it easily and effortlessly, right?
Ooh, I love that. Handling it gracefully, easily, effortlessly. Yes, because we all think we want this thing or go for it, and then go ahead. I found that fascinating.
Yes, and I threw that in there on purpose because it doesn't, reaching your goals doesn't have to be this chaotic, frenetic thing. It can be done with, in a calm way. It can be done with ease and effortlessness. When I say effortlessness, of course you have to take action, but with a calmness and just a knowing in your mind, right, that this is going to happen. So you really have to reprogram your subconscious mind to be able to accept this kind of success first.
Well, do you often find that the subconscious mind isn't quite enjoying the fact that you're going to reprogram it? I don't know. There's resistance, right? Because everything that's alive wants to keep living, right? So.
Absolutely, and it's actually a safety mechanism. Like your mind is not your enemy. Yeah. Our brains are trained, so to speak, to keep us safe, to keep us alive. Right. So when we start to step into the unknown, when we start to step into uncertainty, the brain wants to kick in and keep you safe. No, stay here, stay small, stay in your home, So yes, there's absolutely going to be resistance, but when you step into awareness about that, and you notice old thinking patterns or old stories start to come up, when you're in that kind of awareness, you're like, oh, okay, thank you, brain. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. I always appreciate you. Namaste. But I'm
Yeah.
going to go do this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Lately, I've been onto myself or onto my subconscious. I've been like, oh, okay, I get it. I hear you. Oh. I mean, I've been, and there's, lately there's been like this level of compassion or empathy that's settles in or something where it's like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing because this is what you do, subconscious mind. This is what you do. I get it, and let's keep moving forward anyway. I totally love how you're describing that. I find our inner working so remarkable. The deeper we go, there's just more and more rich material to play with in there. Right? It's not boring. Jeez. What do you love most about the work that you do?
It's very simple. It's so simple. I love seeing people be great. I love seeing people know that they're great. I love seeing their eyes light up when they can sit there and say, man, I am awesome.
Yeah.
I love seeing people in their zone of genius and owning it and bringing their gift to the world and owning that.
Wow.
I love it. Yeah. I get choked up. I really do. I get choked up when I start to see, maybe someone who was afraid to speak in public, and then they get in front of a room and they are just like, I'm here.
Nice. Another element of your work that you do is something called Soul Purpose of Giving, which I find fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. And this, so Soul Purpose of Giving, part of it is, I've turned my farm into a sanctuary for abused and or neglected horses. And I have 4 rescue horses on my farm. And this is actually a huge part of my journey in facing my own fears to move forward and to create my own ripple effect from facing my fears, right? So I actually am pretty scared of horses. And
really?
But I've loved them my whole life. I have always had a deep appreciation for just how majestic they are and how deep they are. These are deeply feeling animals, and they're so complex. Their emotions and their relationships are so complex and dynamic, and they're beautiful. I mean, they are just and they're powerful. And I've always loved being around horses, but yes, I'm scared of them if they're acting up or not doing what I'm asking or challenging me. Sure, I get scared, but I knew I had to do this. I knew that I wanted horses. I knew that this was a fear that I had to face, and my first rescue horse was a beautiful Egyptian Arabian chestnut mare. And
wow.
Any of you people out there know that I started out with a very challenging breed for my first horse. And at first I thought she hated me, but in hindsight I realized she was here to teach me something. She was also here to pull something out of me as well. So when I first got her, she was pretty emaciated and malnourished, and so she was very sweet at first. And I got some groceries in her, got her beautiful and healthy again, and she became a diva. And she started trying to bite, kick, trample. I never knew what horse I was going to get when I walked down there in the morning.
Wow.
And yeah, she was scary. And so one day, it was one of the last days she kind of tried to trample me, and I just broke down. I started crying. My neighbor happened to be there, who taught me everything I know about horses. She happened to be standing nearby, and we both stood in my barn, and she cried with me. I knew there was something big going on. I knew there was something bigger going on than just this horse. And I told her that day, I'll never forget it. I said, I have a decision to make here. I either face my fear and get control over this horse, or I surrender to my fear, and then that is going to seep into every area of my life. I just know it.
Wow.
If I don't this fear, I'm going to be scared of everything. So I made a decision that day to work with this horse until I had confidence around her and until I had control over her. And I did that for about 6 months. I worked with several different natural horse trainers. I don't believe in hitting your horse or, using any kind of force or violence towards your horse. So I worked with the right people and I got control over this horse. And that set me on a whole new trajectory in my life. And the ripple effect from that is that I didn't give up on this dream I had of a horse rescue. Now I have 4 other horses. I've fostered several other horses. So, that's turning into a ripple effect on its own.
Nice. And so that is part of the sole purpose of giving. But and you also, do you work with underprivileged children as well? Yes,
I have in the past. Right now, I'm on a small hiatus from working with underprivileged children. It's very tough work, and I worked with a couple of girls for about 7 years, and we supported them financially. We mentored them. My husband, he's an orthodontist. He did all of their dental and orthodontic work. And we provided as much guidance as we could, as much guidance, I guess, as they were able to comprehend and accept. And it became difficult, as they got older. And part of that was, I'm sure I had my own limitations. I've never had teenage girls, first of all, but also to have teenage girls who have been through so much.
Right.
And I finally got to a point where I had to encourage them both to, find other people they could trust, because it got bigger than me. It was more than I could handle, and I knew that. And so I had to encourage them both to find other people that they could trust, and also to let them go a little bit. I couldn't be there. If I fixed everything for them for the rest of their young adult life, what were they going to learn, right?
Right.
So it was hard. It was very difficult, but I had to kind of wean myself off of them. I mean, they both know I'm always here. If they need to call me, I'm always here. But I had to kind of wean myself and wean them so that they could step into, I guess, their own power, right?
Right.
So I am taking just a small hiatus from that, because a lot of people hit what's called compassion fatigue, and you've got to take care of yourself first sometimes before you can take care of other people. It's that whole airplane oxygen mask analogy.
Yeah. Plus, to hold a space for that is, one has to be in a very, I would say, grounded or integrated space to hold space for others to heal or move through things. I find that quite compelling, what you've done. I find also, too, that a lot of the things that we're talking about, too, and correct me if I'm wrong, stems from a willingness to be vulnerable and be with that, I mean, am I right on target with that, or?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that because of people like Brene Brown, that vulnerability is becoming, I don't want to say trendy, kind of spiritually trendy, if you will, but it's a big,
At last. At last.
Vulnerability.
Been waiting for this.
Yeah. So it is so powerful. Because it's like, if we could all step into that, think about how much more we would all be able to relate to one another, and you do, to really step into your purpose, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And part of that is admitting your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yeah, that's a trick right there, admitting your weaknesses, to really discern, oh, okay, yeah, that's where we need to be putting more attention, and that's where the growth is. It's almost like, in a lot of ways, we know where we need to be placing the attention and the focus to move through things. And I think through the work that you do, we can benefit from folks who are doing work that you're doing, especially work you're doing as a transformational life coach, to remind us of that, because we get so lost in our own little swirl of activity that we forget that we're still spiraling up sometimes. I mean, it's always good to spiral up, I think. It's a spiral. We keep evolving.
Love that. Talking about an upward spiral instead of all these downward spirals. I love that.
Yeah. Take it. It's yours. I bequeath it. It's not mine. I don't know where it came from. I just said it. Spiral up. It's always good to spiral up. Or just remember.
There's a new idea for you to pursue. Spiral up. That's your next book.
Hey, spiral up. You know what? Yes. That is a next book.
People out there waiting for this book. Spiral
up. You know what? I love that just happened. We just co-created that together. Or that was a moment that just sparked from nothing came something, which is boom. Yeah. It was beautiful. See? Man, you are good.
No, you're good.
You're good. Well, I have a few more questions for you before we part. And I always like to ask people a couple of these questions because it just reveals so much juicy lusciousness, I think. So what's some of the best advice you've been given about life or thriving?
Wow, where do I start?
It's like, where do we pull that one?
Surrounded by such remarkable people. Well, I'll tell you, when you asked me, the first thing that came to my mind is it's around business. Okay, so I'm building a lucrative wellness business, and I used to have a thing about money, like, oh, it's not about the money. It's like, well, no, now it is about the money, and I fully admit that, because the more abundant we are, the more we have to give back, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to give most of it away. Okay,
beautiful.
So one of my mentors in business, she said something, I swear, probably my first week in this industry. She said, your business will never be bigger than you are. Yeah.
Wow.
So that goes back to the importance of doing this deep inner work, because it doesn't matter what your outside circumstances are. You have to grow on the inside. I will tell you, I have pretty much been the same person. I've had my same level of happiness no matter what our household income has been. And I love that. That gives me a peace of mind that no matter what's going on, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to flourish. I'm going to continue to give back. So my husband, after we were married 6 years, he decided to go back to school. So we were poor as church mice for like 3 years, and we had the best time. We were just as happy then as we are now. And it's because of our inner worlds, right? And we had just started this kind of work back then, not to the extent that I've done in the last, say, 5 years, but we had just started this personal development work together. So the importance of your inner world, I cannot stress it enough.
Boy, that's rich. That's rich. No pun intended, but that is rich. So what do you, one last question for you. What's the most interesting thing that you've been learning about yourself lately?
This one's going to take a second.
Sure, we got time.
Wow.
I know, that's kind of like turbo therapy.
Whoa. That is a great question. I'm gonna steal that one too from you.
Absolutely, you take it.
Honest, I actually feel dizzy right now. That was such a powerful question. Okay, so repeat it one more time for me. I've got to get I've got to get
Sure. Yeah.
grounded.
We can breathe. We can inhale, exhale. Yeah. What's the most interesting thing you've been learning about yourself lately? And I stress lately because it always, I think we're always learning, right?
Yeah. So okay. Lately, honestly, the most interesting thing that I've learned about myself is exactly what I am giving to other people through my practice. I'm realizing, and I'm not shrinking on it. I'm not afraid to say it. I am a powerful woman.
Yes.
And I say that with great humility, believe me. But I just when I get feedback, either through my coaching practice or just through a friend that I'm having a powerful conversation with, or I realize that the more I sink down into my heart, where the truth is and where your intuition is, and the more powerful I become.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's not me. That's all that's for other people. It's not for me. I'm doing this for other people. The work I'm doing for myself, I'm doing for other people. I'm taking one for the team.
Yeah. Right. Right. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah. 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 It is a good question. It's a good question to ask ourselves intermittently. What's the most interesting things we are learning about ourselves lately? Yeah. Food for thought.
Take that around on you.
What's the most interesting thing I'm learning about myself lately? Gee, I thought you'd never ask. Let's see. Well, that should give it away. I guess I like to be asked questions. No, I knew that. Lately, I would say lately. Oh, wow. Thank you. That really hit me too. That was good. We're having a moment here. Wow, I'm a little dizzy. You know, these last few years have been so profound for me, and I feel so immeasurably blessed in so many ways. Having written a memoir about my Polish family and gone off to see places that I never thought I would see because of my own limited thinking. But something opened up. But I think lately, as I'm moving into another era of my life, I am realizing that I'm a lot stronger and more powerful than I may have ever imagined. And that both frightens the hell out of me and excites me too, because it excites me because of what I can give back through communicating, through the stories I tell, through teaching. That excites me. I think it frightens me because it bumps up against the images I have from the past. That person that was small, or that young boy, or whatever. And I want to say still it bumps up, against it. But I think we evolve, it's not like a straight shot, right? So we just evolve and we grow. So lately I've been learning that. And lately I've also been learning that it's good to breathe and meditate and be conscious of where you're at in your transitions, in life. So, and I'm doing much better than I thought. Yeah.
I would say that you are.
Oh, hey, thanks.
When I talk to you, and I know since we've met each other, I mean, we dove deep. We just went there right away.
I know. I love that.
Me too. Me too. So, but what I've always thought about you is, I know you were in a major transition, but I've always considered you to be a person who is in touch with your soul. You may have had some chaos around that, a little bit, and lately, but I've always considered you to be self-aware. And honestly, people are attracted to people who are in touch with their soul.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, I wanted to make a funny comment on that because I'm accepting applications for, partners at this point, but no. I think being our own great partner is vital first, and then that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's absolutely true, because the moment you start expecting someone else to complete you or meet all of your needs, you're
right.
It's not going to work in a relationship. You have to.
That's old school.
To be with yourself. You have to be able to be with yourself.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I love connecting with you, Holly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm energized. Like, I'm going to go get a bunch of stuff done right now. I'm so energized.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's going to be a good day. Folks, go to hollyrcouch.com, find out more about her transformational life coaching and this wonderful 11-day process that she's doing, 11 days at a time, for the next 11 days, more specifically. And Holly, thank you so much. Thank you for what you put out into the world and what you give. Thank you.
Right back at you. Thank you. Love you.
Love you. We will talk soon. Okay, until next time, folks. See you soon.